Welcome, everybody. You know what this is. We getting right to it. The intro music. Let's go. You know what it is. This is the G Shit Podcast, where we focus on family, friends, finances, freedom, and our future. And everything else. This is the G Shit Podcast, man. Let's give it up. Make some noise.
It doesn't matter how you feel.
It does not matter. We got something special tonight. It is a Monday night. The kiddies are to bed. We got the parents staying out late tonight. Gonna be a great episode focused on family, one of the core themes of the podcast. And we're gonna talk to some parents who have a beautiful family, but we're gonna have a little fun while still being real with the topic, because we all know we all got favorites. We all got favorites, favorite colors, favorite shoes, favorite types of outfits that we like to wear. Everybody's got a favorite, hence why we even might have a favorite parent. We might say, hey, reverse it, right? But we're not going to get in that. We don't have the kiddies on. We got the parents on. We want to know about how parents feel when they got biases towards the kids and they know they got a favorite. How do you manage that? How do you deal with that? But we're going to have a deeper conversation. We got Marcus and Bianca on. Before we bring them on, we're going to shout out a lot of what they're doing, man. They have multiple businesses, entrepreneurial couple from Organic Royalz, which you can find at Perkins Orchard in Durham locally, sea moss gel, great benefits for the health. You can pick that up at Perkins Orchard right here in Durham, North Carolina, local produce shop. They also are into the graphics and design world. You talking about Marcus himself, not just the gospel singer, but the graphic artist. They got so many creative just brains going in the household, and they use all that to bring it together and create businesses that help the community. So we got to shout them out for that, man. Great couple. I'm so happy to have them on. Let's bring them on to the show right now. Marcus, Bianca, thank y'all for joining us.
What's up, man?
Thank you for having us, bro.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you for having me, bro. It's been a long time coming, man. I'm so glad to be on here.
Long time coming. And for those of you who don't know me and Marcus, we definitely go back, known each other since high school. You know, life does what it does and people go their separate ways, but I've always kept in contact with him via his aesthetic, his eye for art. I reached out to him early in my relationship with my wife to get a piece designed where he illustrated it for us. One of our pictures that I used as a 1-year anniversary is still in our home to this day. And who knew, say, then, that was 2014-ish, that, you know, going in 2023, that we be here talking to you, family man. Because a family of 3 at the time, this was a lot different, right? So I do appreciate not just you being on, but I appreciate the continued support and kinship throughout the years.
Man, that feeling is mutual, man. Yeah, since we've been in high school, man, just kept in contact. You just always been authentic, man, and just I always appreciate that about you. And you speak your mind, and you just like when you want something done, man, you get it done. And thanks for reaching out to me and just welcoming us, you know, back into the fold with y'all, you and your beautiful wife, man. And y'all just good people, man. And yeah, and I just love seeing like your growth with this, man, from just our conversations and, you know, just your like how hard you've been pushing this thing, man. Seeing it all come together and come to life. And that's just you, man. You put your mind to something.
Hey, man, couldn't have did it without you, for sure, man. The teamwork is definitely a big piece of this. Parenting, I'm sure teamwork is a big theme as it relates to being parent. Before we even get into this, I want to just learn a little bit, not as so much about you as a couple, but about how you grew up. Because, and the reason why I want to start here is because I think a lot of what we view through our adult lens is shaped through those early years in which we grew up. create a standard or a baseline to measure against because of what you experienced and how you took things in. And I think for better or for worse, everyone that has an impact on how you end up being a parent. Should that, should you ever have kids, I would imagine how you were raised would impact how you would parent your kids. And so I'm just curious, if we start with Bianca, like, what was it like growing up for you, like from a household perspective? How many siblings and how would you describe the household?
Sure. Well, my households, it was, I guess, the full family, what you might describe as. I had both parents in the home. My biological father was not a part of my life until around 2014 or so.
Yeah.
So my daddy that raised me, he adopted us, changed our names, married a mom, everything like that. And we were the typical church family. Like, we were always in church. My mom, my dad, and my older sister. So I was the baby of the family, still am, except for the babies. Yeah, we were always in church. God was the center of everything. One thing I can say about my parents, like, their conviction and lifestyle was one. So there weren't somebody that was just going to church and pulling it together for the pulpit. They were like really living it at home, and it was very annoying, but it was real. And it's just everything that we grew up in. We went to school. We went to graduated from Northern High School, and please stop. Falcons. The Falcons.
We're gonna shout out everything Durham on the podcast, man.
Thank you.
We got to do it, man. We shout out Hillside. We you know what I'm saying? We go definitely shout out to them Northern Knights, man. Round of applause, man. They get some love too, man.
We love you, Northern.
I love you, Northern. Marcus be hating, but it's okay. Gerald, show some love.
She be hating on Jordan's all
It's okay,
the time.
No, we can't hate on Jordan though. We definitely can't do that.
But we hate on y'all because it was somewhat kind of better.
It was definitely better.
So
no diss to Northern.
no,
But
I'm just being
No disagreement.
Yeah, class of 2005.
that was y'all class.
That was my class.
Yes, that's y'all.
2000 dive.
That's it.
Yeah, but hopefully I'm trusting that they got better since then. Anyways, but that's where I graduated from. Mom graduated from, dad graduated from. Just a hometown, born and raised in Durham. Yeah, like I said, my family lived their conviction, and eventually we started living it too. And, just kept going. And in life, you have stages with your ages, and you go through stuff.
So
you learn.
So how many, you said us, how many siblings total? It's a mother, she met a partner, it's you, and who else?
And my big sister Carla.
Big sister Carla, little sister Bianca.
Little sister Bianca. It was the four of us.
The four of you.
So Daddy Law, Mommy Paula, big sister Carla, and me, Bianca.
And the age difference between you and your sister?
My sister is almost right at 3 years older than me.
3 year difference. So that's close for, like in age, like you guys could probably share similar thoughts, and, you're going through similar things, similar times.
We were best friends. My parents didn't allow us to fight, so.
No, you weren't allowed to fight, but did you sneak and fight? Okay.
We call them sneak slaps.
Okay.
I was saying that we were like close, so close. Like, we talked about everything, shared everything, experienced a lot together. I mean, up to she got married. So that's when things kind of started changing for us, kind of distancing out.
Okay.
But yeah, we're still very close. I think we're still closest. And like you said, we're definitely in that kind of same boat with life, marriage, kids, church, all that.
How old were you when you met, or when your mom met the person you call dad, the one that raised you?
Yeah, mommy met daddy when I was 1.
Okay.
So that was 1988, and they got married in 1989.
So he was essentially there as much memory as you can ever have being in the household.
That is all I remembered up to like when my dad came back in the picture, and he's very much present now. He had a lot of kind of guilt and things he was going through holding him back from reaching out earlier. Yeah, but I think if he had known how it was growing up, remember I said it was annoying. There were some trials and tribulations that we had to go through, get through. And I think if he had known certain things, he probably would have had the boldness to reach out sooner.
You talking about your dad?
Dad Ricky, yes.
Okay.
My dad. My
Let's
biological
distinguish
father.
here. Okay, so dad means biological father. Okay.
Dad means biological. Daddy is daddy. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Just clarifying it for the listeners.
Clarifying it.
No.
Thank you.
Clarity is
Sorry,
good.
that's confusing. Sorry.
No, you
Clarity is good. In a situation like that, like did your household give out whoopings?
Yes.
Abundant whoopings.
Okay, whoopings were like earned.
And what is a whooping? A hand
We
spank?
describe it.
We got straight up spanked. We got hit with the belt. Yeah.
With a belt. It wasn't hand. It was his belt.
No, daddy wouldn't let mom hit us. She popped us across the face like once because we kept singing "Mama's gonna knock you out." That's all we knew from the song. I swear, we were sitting in Food Lion's parking lot.
That ain't the same song.
But me and Carla kept saying, "Mama gonna knock you out." And mom reached back because she told us to stop already. So she popped us in the mouth. Pop, pop. Ooh. Daddy said, no, don't do that. That's the only time. But other than that, we got belt. Dad never hit us in the face, nothing like that. Because he's not going to set that example to get us in the habit of getting hit in the face by a man.
I should have been playing Shirley Caesar, singing Shirley Caesar.
Shirley Caesar. We probably were, Mark. Probably were.
So whoopings, and
Whoopings were real. Yes.
Did your father ever whoop you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you got whoopings from mommy and daddy.
Mommy and daddy. Mommies were a lot more frequent. Daddy would show grace to a point, but he'd give it to you.
Okay, give it to you. I could feel the.
You feel me?
I felt it too.
Oh man, I can feel that from here to just get.
And my dad is big.
Boy.
He is big. Like he's a big guy. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Whoopings do something to you, bruh. Like
It do.
Like I got whoopings too. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I got whoopings, and I used to hide all my mama belts under the bed.
Oh,
I believe it, bro.
She was like, I can't find my belts. Man, I didn't hear all them shits under the bed because I was like, I would hide. I would go like deep under the bed and start stacking them strategically where you couldn't see them through the shadows. Like I would start collecting the belts, make sure she couldn't pick up no belts. I was like, but then she got creative.
She done figured it. What did mama do?
Little ruler here, a little something else there. It's like, dang, them belts ain't even. But I ain't gonna lie, like those whoopings do something to you. I'm gonna circle back to that. Just with being modern parents. But I'm curious from upbringing, because I think our generation was raised by a generation that was brought up typically by an old school tradition. Typically, like
Yes.
most of our parents are Gen X or Boomers, typically, like one of the two. As how we grew up, a lot of those older traditions, we do have experience with that. Like we know what it's like to not have cable, for example, not have internet,
right.
very gotta sit down when it's a thunderstorm. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's right.
God's working.
Yeah. And from a disciplinary standpoint, like I do always just think about how the way your discipline impacts how you think other things should go from a punishment standpoint. Like,
wow.
If I'm never whooped, do I have more grace when I'm thinking about how to react to something? For example, if I'm never taught that like this is how you show somebody they've done wrong, for example, right? I'd be thinking about little things like that because the how impressionable we are as kids. Is like we emulate everything on TV. We talk like it. We dress like our parents. We have like, you know, I think about uncles and cousins, older, like you see these figures, they're so cool, you know. It's just your uncle, but he's so cool. Like,
Yes,
like
it's
he drink
real.
that whole beer like that.
Yep, and he can still stand up.
Yo, how he drink that whole thing like that? Oh man, I can't wait.
Full
Like,
conversation.
And get deeper with the conversation when he do it.
That's real.
yeah, facts.
I can definitely relate to what you're saying. It's like my mind was thinking like, I think about the root of things. So it's like you see certain cultures and things like that. They might not beat their kids like that. Like, you know, you might go to like deep woods and maybe get some clear that really go in probably with a belt or something like that. But
You can say white people. You don't have to say clear.
well, I call them clear. That's what that's my word for our white clears. Yeah.
Clears, word. Translucence.
We love y'all.
Translucence.
All love.
The clears.
All love.
Yeah, but mostly you see, like I look for the root of stuff. So like you said, our parents are mostly Gen X boomers. Their parents, they were what?
My parents was older, so my grandparents.
His
was like,
granddad was the son of a slave.
Yeah, my granddad. That's
So,
a whole different story.
He was 107 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like okay, so it's like where did we get this style of discipline from?
Oh yeah.
And this mindset, like if you do something wrong, you're gonna feel it. Like get the belt. Okay, it got to a certain point that my sister and I got too big, like to just be spanking somebody or chasing them and stuff. So they'd lay us on the bed and just be spanking us like that. Yeah. So it's like, and like I would think, like even at that time, like man, I feel like a little light-skinned slave right now. I'm just getting my butt up, But it makes you think about those kind of practices. And is this something that we're going to allow modern day to keep going and implementing with our kids, or figure out another way to do it without, I guess, getting certain results that we don't want from other cultures, type of discipline or non-disciplines.
Right.
Yeah, that's real. It's like I don't want to put. I just was at the gym this morning, and this lady was working out there with me. And she was telling me about her son. He's 24 now. They're white. Her husband's a billionaire, and they're well-to-do. This is her
literally a billionaire.
Literally a billionaire, man. Here in Raleigh, it's crazy, man. And so she said she gave this boy everything. Like
he went to Ravenscroft.
No, he ain't going to Ravenscroft.
No, he went to Jordan. Go ahead.
No, she throwing mad darts,
man. That's all right.
Oh man, that's funny.
Right. But yeah, man. But she was just like crying out like this morning because her son just got out of prison. For selling drugs. You know what I'm saying? And got caught. Large amounts of drugs. So he did like several years in Butner, and she. Like, man, she just would not. She just seems she's like been praying for him. She said she doesn't know what to do. She said it's just always been like this real like I'm gonna do what I want to do and nothing she could do about it.
Timmy needed to be yanked up.
And I'm just saying like I just bring it up to say, even though I have seen negative impact about of me getting spanked and stuff like that. I got beat. I didn't get spanked. I got beat. I'll tell my story. But it made me walk with some type of inferiority, like fearfulness of authority figures, which kind of was unhealthy for me in a way when it came to my peers. But yet I'm thankful for it because what I'm saying, some other kids, what I'm saying, that I think I needed some of that discipline. You know what I'm saying? And it helped me in some ways. It might have prevented some stuff from me, from happening in my life. But all I have to say, nowadays, man, it's like even with our kids, like it's tough, man. And we got two girls and a boy, and I definitely don't want my girls growing up like, oh man, my dad spanked me, dad beat me, stuff like that. Them in their mind thinking like it's okay in a relationship for, I mess up, they think that's a normal thing. And it's like, it's not. It's not. It's a trauma. It's a trauma thing, honestly. man. Because with wisdom, I think we can find better ways, man, to teach our kids. You know what I'm saying? Because there's not all other cultures' kids end up bad. So they must be applying some principles that we just might not be privy to, man. So
yeah, and I found a lot of other cultures and stuff. They're not public.
Right.
They will not film their kids where you can see them.
that's true.
They go home and be like, okay, you remember what you did in the market? You don't do that. Kapaya!
Yeah.
You don't do that.
Many cultures whoop their kids. That's a fact. Many cultures whoop their kids. That's not just a black thing for sure. So sort of pivoting to you, Marcus. So for the bulk of your upbringing, so Bianca's upbringing was for the bulk of her upbringing, for the most part, a 2-parent household with 1 sibling. For you, Marcus, like how would you describe yours?
Yeah, man. Single parent household majority of the time. My dad was there early on, in and out. He was in and out, So I'll just give it most all to my mom, and I have a younger sister. She's approximately about 2 years younger than me. Yeah, my mom. I love my mom. Mom, if you're watching, I love you. I love you.
Love you, Mama.
But mom had single moms. We love you. We love you. Y'all have a part.
Let me interject and just clarify something here, just to highlight just some differences. So single parent versus 2-parent, opposite sex sibling versus same sex sibling, and you're the oldest versus the youngest.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to point some things out as we connect the dots.
Yeah.
All right.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah, my mom, we had a tough time coming up as far as financially. My mom definitely was a woman of faith but her faith was always tested. So we weren't always in church like that. And my dad being a singer and stuff like that, we was Christian kids were looking to call us the term worldly kids because we listened to whatever we wanted to listen to. We kind of did what we wanted to do, but we still had faith there and with my mom especially. But yeah, mom was working 3 jobs all the time. So I got into a lot of trouble. Not being funny, but me and my sister got into a lot of trouble. We had a tough time getting along, me and my sister. And I think that's mainly because it was weird because like being the only male in the house and also being the oldest, in a weird way, some of those fatherly, that I was looked at as the man of the house. But my sister, and I can't speak for her, but I know there was some type of tension with that because she really longed for, my dad's presence, man. And I think that contributed to a lot of me and my sister's like conflicts in the home, man. But yeah, mom, definitely, we got spankings too. Our spankings, like I use beatings because
another level.
My mom, single parents, man, they get stressed out, man, and sometimes it's quick temper, not a lot of conversation, not a lot of let me understand why you did this. It's just kind of more reactive. Yeah. That was my upbringing, man. We was homeless before. Before we went to high school, portion of time while I was in high school, we were homeless as well. Yeah, just a lot of ups and downs and in the home in regards to like just consistent, like an environment of sustainability, man. Tough. It just wasn't consistent. But I just seen my mom grind so hard, man. And you hear this story a lot with like black men in the media. They put in music or sports, or entertainers, that came from single parent households. Like, man, I seen my mom grind so hard. My goal was to try to save my family. Like, I want to save my family, man. And yeah. And that's still my goal. That's still my goal is like, I want to save the family as best as I can, do what I can. Because I feel like that mantle of a father is mine. Yeah. Mine, weird way, man. But yeah. But that's
so this is and I appreciate you sharing that. And so it's like I'm hearing from a background standpoint, definitely some differences. You described Bianca, your sister, as a bestie, and Marcus described his relationship as not quite bestie. at the early stages, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm curious, I'm just curious from a disciplinary standpoint. Do you feel like one of your siblings got less discipline than the other, or got away with more than the other?
That's good.
You gonna go?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go.
You're it.
I'll definitely go, man. As being an older brother, my mom.
I'm so sorry, older siblings.
If Angel cried out or something, I didn't even put my sister's name out there. Angel, if you watch out, I put my sister's name out there.
Angel!
Love. I'm saying if something happened with Angel and we're in an argument, automatically, bro, it's like my mom is coming for me because it's just like, man, you the oldest. I'm gonna give it to you, or you're gonna be the example. You know what I'm saying? So Angel, your younger sister won't follow in your footsteps. I felt like I was disciplined the most. Long answer, yes. I felt like I was, and Angel got a lot. My sister got a lot. got away with a lot.
Grace.
Got
Can
away
you hear
with
me?
a lot. Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
And so, okay, I hear where you're coming from. You feel like you got more than she. What about so that might be quantity, like you got it at a higher frequency, you think?
The spankings or beatings.
Yeah, man. I would say yeah. I got it more frequently, I would say. In the early was it?
Go ahead.
Early on. Yeah.
What about severity wise, like the level of the crime? Like, like who got it the worst in terms of who suffered the worst punishment?
Oh man, I would have to give that one to my sister. I mean, I used to hear her, man. I'm like, yeah, oh well, she getting, yeah, man. I'll have to give it to her, man. I mean, once I got a certain age, my mom, she was just like, nah, I'm not gonna be able to. She to this day, she fine. Nah, I love you.
Oh man, that is hilarious.
to this day.
Oh no!
No, but no, all love, man. And it probably, from her perspective, she might say me because she might say that I got it the worst. Because we have compassion for each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I don't want to hear Angel getting like that.
And I would tell Angel says that she would cry.
We're telling her name like
Marcus.
Yeah.
She would cry.
Watching, shout out to you.
We love you. She would cry when Mark was getting a whooping.
Yeah.
But Marcus wouldn't cry when she was getting a
You put
whooping.
me out there? No, I didn't.
That's what Angel was.
Because I was always getting in trouble. And I was like, man, now it's your turn. Like, it's your turn.
Now it's your turn.
You know what I'm saying? It's your turn. How about you? What would you say between you and Carla?
Okay.
I'm putting Carla's name out there.
I already put Carla's name.
That's true.
I fear not.
Bianca, all right, so I asked the first question is, or ultimately was, who got it most? Like, did you feel like that between you and your sibling, that one of you maybe got away with more than the other, as it relates to like getting punished?
Now, I'm going to go back to what you said. You said who got the most discipline. Now, okay, for the older siblings, I'm a very observant person. So when my sister would make her mistakes,
oh man,
I would take note and be like, I'm not gonna do that because she's getting hurt. She's getting her butt beat right now. Okay, and it sounds terrible. She's screaming, breaking stuff, running all over the room. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so her discipline by getting her butt beat was my discipline by watching her example or her consequence. So it's like both of us was getting disciplined. But I didn't take the lashes to learn those lessons, I should say.
So so what are you saying, you're more wise than your sister?
No. I'm saying she reached a decision first.
Got it.
And she made the wrong decision.
Hove did that.
See?
So you wouldn't have to go through that.
So you wouldn't have to go through that. That's right.
She was most like Christ. She took it.
Oh, no, I'm taking it to Jesus now.
Wait, Jesus ain't do that. Jesus chose the right thing. Never mind. She was my ultimate example. And that's why I could go to her about everything. Because I felt like she was reaching those decision points before I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I would watch her choice and I would watch her consequence. And I would say self, and self say, which consequence do you want? I don't want to be getting beat. So I'm not gonna do that. Did I get beat? Yes.
This is why my
Did I
laughing
get
at
beat
this.
as much as Carla?
This is terrible.
No. But did I get disciplined as much as Carla? Yes. Because I took my lessons from her lashes and my avoidance and my lashes. Now, she was past my level by the time I was getting lashes for stuff I was. So.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So, all right. So then let's stay there because both of you are close enough in age to where, like, you know, there's relational, like, you go through similar things. You're listening to similar music, watching similar shows. Like, you might pop up at similar events at one point in time. I'm curious. Because Bianca, you had two parents in the household. So let's start with, do you feel like dad ever had a favorite between you and your sister?
You know what, Gerald? I don't really know. I can't place that. I would have to say no.
Have you ever thought or had a feeling that?
I would have to say no because I would have to say no because I guess a person's attraction or favoritism might be moved somewhat by, I guess, what's being reciprocated to them or communicated to them or something in a way like pleasant. So my sister's not a hugger. She's not a cuddler, you know, kissy, huggy, all in your face type person. She's not that. My dad is he ate our faces up and stuff whenever he could. I ate it up. You know, and I give right back all that. So we used to have little kiss wars and you kiss, you know, all that stuff. Carla wasn't a part of those kiss wars. She just wasn't. That's not her. But he was like, I wouldn't say if he had a favorite. I would say, I don't know. He just respected our different personalities. And he would get Carla, you know, he showed her affection, still does when she lets anybody. And yeah, but me, I'm a kissy, huggy, lovey type person. So, and he takes full advantage of that.
Oh.
Would either you or your sister self-describe as a daddy's girl?
They kind of said I was, but that was through a filter of I don't know. I guess it was a public display of affection back then. To a point, I don't know. Because we were going through some stuff at home. It was weird, but we got past it and was able to grow, have forgiveness and stuff. Yeah, but I would say that they definitely would say that I was the dad's girl because, like I said, I'm huggy, whatever. I'm be all over my guy, extra daddy girl while we're out, just like we are at home. So. And
what about your mom? Same question. Did you ever think that mom was like, oh man, mom be showing sis all the love. Her plate of mac and cheese be way saucier than mine. Like.
Than mine. Growing up, no. Growing up, no. Mommy was the same. She was even. She was what'd you say? She was fair with both of us, but times have changed.
I was about to say,
Carla,
times is different.
Mommy, Carla is your favorite.
If you listening, Carla is
unquestionably, huh?
Unquestionably.
Oh boy.
We said at the same time. You got to drop some bombs or something.
Oh boy, man.
We love you, mommy.
Man.
It doesn't matter how you feel.
No, but Carla's closer. Carla's closer. In proximity, they live closer together. They're always together. While Mark done moved me away to Morrisville and to Raleigh.
Gotta get new spaces, new places, baby.
Interesting. So two parents. And I just want to highlight the way you emphatically answered one and the way you politically answered the other. I'm just going to highlight that. just
about
to,
to say, she tiptoed around that
just to
laugh.
stir it up, make it a little bit more extra umphy. I wanna, in case sis see that, I want to just make sure that that's included in there to stir it up a little bit. 'Cause I
Tiptoeing,
did
bro.
notice that you did that, but we
Just
can continue the
tiptoeing.
conversation. So now,
She danced around that one.
Yeah, y'all
Marcus,
can.
for you,
Yeah.
you butted heads with your sister. You were sort of sorry. No. Tangent time. And because this is what happens so often in household where there is a single mother and there is a male figure, and the male figure isn't an adult male who is the spouse or partner of the woman, right? Like that oldest male sibling does often take on this role of, you're the man of the house. I've seen it often working with younger people. Hold on, did y'all hear that? My little Siri was tripping, and I was like, whoa. All right, so when working with like families and a dynamic where there's a sibling who is a male, and he's one of few males in the house, if not the only male, like there is almost this responsibility oftentimes by the mother, in my experience, put on a young man unnecessarily, in a way that, and to be fair too, I have to say, in a single parent household, the same thing happens to the oldest sister, because then really just the oldest sibling, I have to say, if I just take a step back. But it's just different when it's a male versus female, because when you're a woman, there are certain expectations, versus when you're a man, there's certain expectations. But oftentimes, especially in a household where there's a single parent, that oldest sibling, if you're a woman, you're almost like mom B, right? You're getting the kids ready, doing the cooking, like you're doing everything that your mom, like you're taking on these responsibilities, and it's expected of you to do that and make sure everybody's on time and so forth.
Yeah.
From a male perspective, you're expected to almost contribute to the household in some way, protect the household in some way, like make sure your siblings is good. And just like it is, in my opinion, oftentimes an unfair expectation that gets put on a young person, and it strips them of their innocence in a way where unnecessarily forces them to do things in a way that, as a child, like I keep going back to the idea, this thing is all mental. And when you're a child, and so much of your psyche is filled with trauma and scarcity and fear, just like it's tough to think of something different when then that's what's in your household, but then that's what's in the backyard, it's what's down the street, it's what's around the corner, it's what's in the classroom when you go. Like, you can't even think really in a way to remove yourself from the environment. And so I just got to highlight, like, I do see that often in families where unnecessary pressure is put on a child, where there are siblings, for the oldest child to be this unreasonably responsible person, to do these extraordinarily contributions that the parent shouldn't put that pressure on a child, in my opinion. But that's a tangent, you know what I'm saying? Back to what we was discussing, because I'm not saying that was your case in any way. It just made me think about that. But for you in your situation, you were the oldest, you were the only male. Did you personally feel like we went through the discipline, but did you ever feel like that there was a favorite or favoritism shown between you and your sibling as it relates to your mom?
Yeah, man. Just being honest. Yeah, I felt that way. My mom and sister just had a tighter relationship. They could relate to each other in so many ways, man. When I said that, kind of like I got into, I wouldn't say a lot of trouble, but I had my mom kind of push me out of the house more, to either get a job or do some things. And no fault to my mom, because she just probably didn't have the knowledge on what boys or what men need and stuff like that, or even how to communicate with me. And that might have been a pain point for her, something she might have been a little bit afraid of or unsure of. So she kind of push that away, without probably even her knowledge, and just embraced stuff with my sister because it was just easier. For the single, older, well, the guys that came from single parent households that were the oldest, a lot of times you heard this term, "Be just like your father." You hear that term a lot. You're not gonna be like your daddy. You ain't gonna, and you hear that, so that kind of sticks into your subconscious too. Like, but I don't even know what my dad really was like, It just was like, so, I just felt like I was, just as a little boy, I felt like I didn't really belong in the house. So crazy, but I didn't feel like I belonged, even though the demand was there to be, hey, go get this job, bring the money home, help me out with the rent, help me do this, which I didn't mind. I wanted to, like I said before, do my best to help save the family as best as I could. But when it came to like me talking about things I was dealing with or growing up with, or encounters I was having at school, or questions that I had about myself, I really didn't have a parent really to talk to. And that's why, thankfully, man, I had mentors. But all that to say, I'm getting on a tangent too. I hit that button. But yeah, I felt my sister. I felt my sister not necessarily. I don't think my mom loved my sister more. I just think she could relate to her more. And in my perception, as a kid, it felt like she showed favoritism towards my sister more, because they always were spending time. They were doing things together. They would go out together. They would do their videos, do different things together. And when it came to like mother and son outings, we didn't have any. I had no mother and son outings. You know what I'm saying? It was just, and that's not to be like, oh, but I mean, just
like, that's just what it was. No. We gonna milk that. We gonna milk that. She giving you the favor. Hey, look, from one brother to the next. Hey, man. Hey, we gotta cherish those. She gonna rub the hand out. She'll feel sorry for you. Hey, my brother, you need that to go rest well tonight. He's not feeling well. This is a tough conversation. He's gonna need that. It's gonna need that comforting. Gonna need that comforting to rest well.
Brother.
Yeah,
thank you, my brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, not to get it, but I mean, I know my mom loved me the same, because she sacrificed the same for me and my sister. Always the best meals she could make. She spent her last on getting us some jewelry, like one pair of shoes. School year. She tried to get us the best thing she could get for both of us. Nobody had better clothes than the other. But when a kid, we want the time. You know what I'm saying? We just want the time and to feel like we're seen. And that just wasn't the case like that for me, man. I don't think my mom knew how, man.
Yeah. So it's and I appreciate y'all for sharing those thoughts, because you all have, been married for, correct me now, 10 years, correct?
Yep.
10 years.
10 years, decade. That is definitely something to celebrate. I'll be celebrating 10 years this year as well.
Oh, yes, sir.
Do it again.
All right, well, we gonna do it again.
How you feel.
That is correct. Within this 10-year marriage, you all have had 3 children. I gotta just interject with a just short story here. Because, and it relates to this podcast as well.
Oh, man.
Because I've had this idea for the pod. One of the first people I reached out to get it going was Marcus. Not just for the design, but also for the, say, AV consultation from a video perspective, like types of cameras, lights, like things of that nature, right? And so we went to a store in Raleigh.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And we linked at that store on a random, was it a Saturday? I think it was a Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a Saturday. It was like in the middle of the day. And they have used cameras. What's if I knew the name, I would say it, but I don't know the name of the store.
Yeah, it was a Southeastern Camera.
Southeastern Camera in Raleigh. Great staff. They were very supportive, helpful. Like shout out to that business. Man, Marcus pulled up and then out the car came 3 kids. And I was like, and it was just Marcus, and he was meeting me. And I was like, oh, word. And so And so I'm like, okay, word. I love kids. Let me just be clear. I actually like enjoy kids. I like playing with kids, joking with them. Like I enjoy kids.
Yeah.
And so, but I like observing kids. They're so like, I just like to watch them. They're just like, and so y'all's kids.
I'm scared.
No, this is.
Okay, good. That was good. And the gunshots.
Oh, the gunshots too, man.
I mean, you talk about, I'm gonna be honest, like I gotta, cause I'm gonna ask, like, how often do y'all whoop your kids? I'm gonna ask this
It's coming.
because the way they was in line was as if like this nice guy facade that he has here on the camera, just like as soon as it turns off, he turns into something else. And them kids are like, oh, we can't make daddy mad. Like, because when I tell you these kids were,
Oh man.
when I talk about a group of three in a place like a used camera store, you
Cameras,
talk about
that's scary.
gadget,
Lenses.
you're talking about lenses, all the above. Correct.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be honest. Not only did they, as soon as they got out of the car, have a chain of three, just everybody linked, hands held tight through the parking lot as a unit. And it's just him. I'm just observing. I'm just like making sure like no car come from the back side. Like, let me get the door for y'all.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you.
The kids just moving in line and then open the door, they go through, and then they just start harmonizing beats. Like,
Wait.
from the it's like they just entertain themselves and they're not even disruptive. They're not like running around playing duck duck goose,
No.
picking stuff up. Like,
No.
they not huffing and puffing. Oh, we ready to go, and, and like they ain't got no attitudes.
Oh man.
They hugging each other. They like each other. I'm like these little. They like each other. Like three of them.
Like
Everybody's all like they hugging. They singing. They like.
Oh.
I was like, yo, this is.
Oh man.
Successful daddy day.
That's all, man.
And I know that it's no extra credit for a father to be a father. So that's not what I'm saying.
That's
I don't give a damn if you got father, mother, you got
Yes.
3 kids.
We get it.
I don't care. You got 3 kids by yourself in any situation. And they are that just well, like on the same page and everything's kosher in a place like that. Man, again.
Man, give me phone.
Appreciate
Give me
it,
5,
man.
dude.
Appreciate it, man.
Oh, Dad.
Thank you, man.
Great group of young folks that y'all have in the household, and it's a direct reflection of how they're raised. Frankly, it has to be to some degree. That's my own from working with younger people throughout my lifetime. Like it's all tied. In my opinion, to the core of what makes them. So shout out to y'all for what you're doing in the household.
Thank
you know, before I get into the more interesting things, I'm just curious from a disciplinary standpoint, like how do you distribute the discipline? What's the roles there?
So I'm an educator as well. Love kids.
That's the key.
All that. So I have, and I take the early childhood education. Once they get past about 2nd, 3rd grade, I'm like, all right, spread your wings. I'm here. But we have definitely been I have not turned my house into a classroom. Okay. I just implement what I've learned from the years of being an early childhood teacher and child care provider, that children need routine. Children need to know their limitations, and they need to know your expectations. So they need their expectations to be known as well and honored to a point. So we do reward them for doing the right thing. We let them know that was a great choice. Like, I love the way you did that. I love the way you thought that through. Like, you was about to do something really crazy, and I saw you stop yourself and think about it. And I ain't even have to come over there. Okay. I'm really glad you did that. Also, we don't bribe, but we do reward, like I said.
Describe the difference between that.
Okay,
What do you mean you don't bribe?
The difference is, okay, a reward is, like I said, kids need to know your expectations and also have their expectations known. But what certain people don't know with kids is you set their expectations. You can assign their expectations with rewards. So, mostly with choice. Okay, let's go to choices. If they choose to do something that's expected of them, let's say clean up your toys before we go outside. Clean up your toys. Like, they go all in when they have their toys out. And like, I like to have the house be a certain way so we can come back in and not be falling all over the place. Well, they had to learn that. Okay, they learn you leave out your Hot Wheels and someone slides on the Hot Wheels across the floor, smashes their head on the wall. Mom's screaming. Blood and stuff is everywhere. No, it wasn't blood. But they learned
they learned because somebody got hurt.
Yes. And I bought them to them. Face to face. Look at their head.
Hold on. I gotta interject here because I'm having a thought. These sound like puppies. Like when a puppy piss on the carpet, you gotta go rub their face in the carpet. Like, you bad dog. How dare you piss in the carpet?
But does it work?
Hey, look, I can't say it don't. But I just want to be clear here. What you're telling me is there was an incident where someone may have gotten a little hurt, and in the incident of taking care of the hurt one, you made sure to have that be a learning moment.
Yes, this is why I set this expectation for you to clean up your toys.
Somebody cold-blooded.
On their head. And Gerald.
I love that. Hey, I need that. I love that.
You get them to a certain age, and then you teach them. Now you gotta help them fix it. They know where the ice is.
Yeah, you gotta get the ice pack.
Go get the ice pack.
The Band-Aids.
Get the first aid kit. Of course, I'm administering the first aid if there's blood or anything like that. But you teach them too that their choices and actions have a result, a consequence in that. And you teach them that what they do affects other people. It affects the house. We were having a great time. Came in here and they're just tore up because of something that they chose not to do. Mom's not happy. And when mom's not happy, everybody's hearing it. I don't care. Everyone.
So in the dynamic between the two of you, 10 years of marriage, Bianca is the disciplinarian of the two?
No.
Or okay.
That's the thing, man. It's like we both kind of share. We kind of share in that in our own way.
You guys do good cop, bad cop, two good cops, two bad cops, like
okay, so if they get got on by one parent, there's no coddling. Oh, I'm sorry. Why daddy do that? Why? There's none of that. There's none of that.
We're always unified when it comes to, whether they're doing the right thing or the wrong thing.
And when we don't agree, we pull each other to the side or, when we're away and be like, hey, I think you went a little hard. Like, this is not even the stage he's in. He didn't mean to be like that. This might be what he's thinking about. Maybe you want to go talk to him, but not in front.
So when one of you might be being a little too stingy toward the kids and you don't really appreciate it, you interject then and take up for the kid. You let the parent do what they do and then you talk to them later. Am I just understanding that correct? Or do you ever interject because you nah, not on my baby?
Yeah, we've done that before.
Interjected.
When we realize we're reacting out of anger. We never want to react we try our best to make a conscious effort not to respond to our kids in anger, like out of anger. So when we notice that we're already like, let's say we're already agitated with the day, kid does something, one of the kids does something, and we react like, we're like, oh, no.
Marcus is good for coming upstairs. He's like, hey, come here, boy. And that's another thing. Like, dads make a difference. Like, he doesn't even.
Dads make a difference, meaning what?
Presence. And there is a mantle, let's say that dads have and hold in the family and in the household. We believe that there is a world we can see and what we can't. Okay. There are certain authorities and orders that are in the house. And if it's set up the right way, the family and household can flourish. So the dad being in his right spot, he doesn't have to do the same thing mom does. And I can invoke his presence and get the desired result that I want. So Mark doesn't even have to be here. And let's say we have a 3-year-old, okay? She's doing something. She's not listening to me. I told her sometime, like, do something. She's not doing it, whatever. She's being mean or something like that. I say, Daddy. And she's no, okay, I do. And turn around. And Gerald, honestly, he doesn't even do nothing like that. He just talk when he's not being all bubbly baby with them and he's talking serious with them. That authority and that mantle of him being dad and very present, it like, dad's not happy. And I feel terrible that he's not happy with me. Like, he's always happy and playing. And we feel happy, when dad's happy. All that to say.
Yeah. So, and because, like, I try to be like, we try to do this sweet Saturday thing. We try to do that so the kids look forward to that on Saturday.
What's a sweet Saturday look
like?
We
try to get them like their favorite like treat or something on Saturday.
A cookie,
ice cream, a cinnamon bun. And normally I'm the one that, we take them and buy it. So they're like, man, we know dad's going to give us what we need. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a two-edged thing. Like, they're like... And I don't want my kids to be afraid of me because, like, I was afraid of my dad when I was little. You know what I'm saying?
I was scared to death of my dad.
And that was unhealthy. Unhealthy, man. And I don't want them to be that way. And sometimes I notice that, just because dads, like, we just carry a presence of strength and assertiveness that, like, we're only going to say it once. And then we tell them, like, this, hey, we already said it. And with moms, they got to say it a couple of times to get to the kids. Like, hey, put it down. Didn't I say put it down? It's just like, we just say, hey, put that down. And they heard me, that they look up like, dang, dad said put it down. So the same hand that gives me the dessert, the treats. We don't want this hand, we don't want that. We don't want to be.
Why is that? Why do you think that is the case specifically for your household? Like, why does that exist?
I mean, that's a good question, man. Like,
I don't know.
And I think it's so weird, man, because like what you were saying before, like the way we were raised, it translates in a way through osmosis to like our current state, like our current existence. And like I was saying before, like my dad was huge. Like, I'm not a big guy. I'm very small stature in compared to like guys' size. My dad was 6'8", you know what I'm saying?
Huge.
320. He was a huge present giant.
Yeah.
And he liked to express his strength in ways, you know what I'm saying, when he was mad. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't think I had to say anything else.
Express his strength.
You know what I'm saying? Express his strength. In ways like he never like slapped nothing like that, but he was just like extra.
Yeah.
But now, sir, this is a funny story, man. When I was in kindergarten, I had a Jerry curl, y'all. That's why I'm bald now. I don't have any hair. I had a Jerry curl when I was in kindergarten, man, and my dad forced me to get it. And I tell you, I got ragged when I was going to school, got on that bus. The kids was just like singing Jerry Curl. The kids was just, fifth graders went in, bro. Just dragging me across that bus. So my dad, I came home, man, because I went to a private school back then. I was at Christian Faith Center Academy in Creedmoor.
You done said the name and the location.
Yeah, I mean, I was giving them props. That was a good, it was okay school.
You just said you was being bullied there. Go ahead.
The school was good. Anyway, my dad was tired of me getting beat up every day as a little kindergartner. So he comes and he's like, "Who was the kid that messed your suit up yesterday?" And all the kids is looking. I said, "Him, the 5th grader." I pointed. His name was Tony.
So mean.
Tony beat me up. Tony beat me up. Now Tony's parents was outside of the bus stop. Everybody's waiting to get to their parents. You know what I'm saying? Parents is waiting for the kids to get off the bus. My dad comes off the bus with me, and then Tony comes off the bus, and my dad grabs Tony. Now he's 10 years old. My dad picks him up in the air and put him up against the bus. And was like, "Don't you touch my son anymore." Now, mind you, Tony's dad was standing right behind my dad.
Oh.
Wow.
And Tony's dad and mom was just like, "Never put your hands on my son again." And all the kids seen it, all the parents seen it. Nobody approached my dad. Anyway, because my dad was just intimidating, man. So
wow.
I had to say,
Wow.
I try not to emulate that type of stuff here. I really do try to, because it was not healthy for me. But a little bit of time that my dad was there, he made an impact, an imprint on my life because of just how he handles stuff, man. And so sometimes I really have to watch how I react. You know, and Bianca stops me a lot. Like, "Mark, no, can't yell at him. Like, don't get at him like that." And we help each other out. All that to say, we help each other out not to respond in anger and not to.
It's not a lot though.
But it doesn't happen a lot. I'm saying, but we do. We help each other. We help each other.
Yeah,
we help.
Humans. Parents are going to be.
Yes.
We help each other.
The parent's inner child will scream to forever.
Yes.
Like it's just what it is, you know.
That's why it's so important to heal, Gerald. Like and a lot of times, like the way that probably discipline was administered and stuff is very traumatic and detrimental, like to a growing dependent soul that's looking to that certain one for guidance, for protection and things like that. And when a certain form of discipline is used and utilized on a consistent basis, that does something, like y'all were saying, like to a person, to their
kids can feel it, man.
They can feel
kids, we all can feel it. We know when we did wrong and we actually deserve, even though we might not want it, but then we know when it's a little extra, it was like, "Oh man, moms was stressed today." You can never feel it, you know.
And one thing we do that I know that I didn't get was in those times when I do recognize it, and I do believe God does bring it to our attention, be like, "Hey, you was a little bit extra today, and that ain't have nothing to do with them. What's the right thing to do in that? What would I want an adult to do to me that came to me like that? You go and apologize.
Yeah.
You figure out how to make it right. And these are living souls, little people.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be big people. So
apologizing to your kids. Wow.
Apologize.
Absolutely.
Apologize.
Absolutely.
You know, that's powerful. That's powerful. You have these 3 children. I'm just going to point out some things that just stand out to me as obvious in terms of what might make it tough because so I don't believe in equality. I just don't believe.
Tell me what you mean.
So I think an example of what I mean is that you have 3 kids. Ain't 33.333333 for every kid. It just ain't gonna be that for every kid. It's like in any category, in any category.
That's the mathematician right there, man.
30.
It's your attention, your what's required. Like it's all different for everybody. We're everybody's a fingerprint. So what is equality when everybody's a fingerprint? So I want to preface like this whole thing, like not to say that you should have quote unquote favorites. I think that you should show differences to everybody. Nobody should be treated the same.
Yeah.
I shouldn't treat my wife the way I treat my friend. And I shouldn't treat my mother the way I treat anyone else. Like, it's like I gotta treat people differently. Some of it that's based on title and relationship. Some of that's just based off of just the connection or whatever the case might be. But everybody's different. Like from your perspective, when I say like that word like favorite, I don't necessarily literally mean like a favorite, because I don't think a parent, you don't love a kid more than the other, like, but you might enjoy spending time with one more than the other.
Like I like.
I don't want to, but
It's real though.
That's real though.
It's real.
That's facts, man.
Yeah, because we don't get to choose family. We don't we can kind of pick and choose friends, but family you kind of learn to manage. You learn to get along with over time. And so, with that said, I could easily see, in a household where it's 5 people and there are 3 kids and 1 son, I could see how Marcus might have a bias towards, say, that 1 son in a unique way because of the unique male-to-male relation. I could also see how that 1 son might say, well, mom and the sisters have their own thing because of a unique sort of relationship, and if you will. And so that's just like on the surface, like how I could imagine like a reasonable sort of difference in how things are approached. But let's see, who any volunteer to just like, I just want to know here when it comes to your 3 kids. Let's just go over the ages very quickly here. So we got your oldest child is a young lady who is how old at this moment?
She's 7.
7. Then you had a son who is currently 5. And then you had another young lady, a daughter, who is currently
3.
So y'all on the 2-2-2 plan.
2-2-2 plan.
Feel like it, man. Yes, sir.
Great number.
And y'all skipped the 2 recently, so yes. All right, I'm not gonna go in there. All right, so all right.
Wait a second.
2-2-2 plan. 2-2-2 plan. All right, so
Yes, sir.
how? Okay, that's very. So you were 2 and I'm just saying. All right, so
Wait.
okay. All right, just tying it back, right? So
It was.
That's weird, yeah. Wow.
That was. I mean, it's God. We ain't even mean to do that.
I mean, it's just like
I'm just telling. And our 3-year-old was the peekaboo blessing.
yes,
peekaboo.
Peekaboo, boo, boo.
surprise blessing.
Yes, our son was 9 to 10 months old in 24-month-old clothing. And we found out we were almost out of the first trimester.
He got that 6'8" gene, huh?
I'm telling you.
Yeah, you do, man. I'm like, let's try to get you right now.
I know. I was like, give it to him. Don't give it to the girls. Okay, give it to him.
Oh man. So okay, so you got these 3 just great kids.
All different.
All different, I'm sure. How do you manage the natural just bias that might exist? I'm not even going to necessarily ask you which one. I'm just going to ask you because I know it's there.
Yeah.
I don't have to ask. I know it's there because we're humans.
Yes.
So the question is, how do you manage that as a parent in a way so that the other siblings don't get traumatized because of how obvious it is? Do you think about that? Like,
that's real.
And just how does a parent manage that natural sort of just like they just might naturally connect with someone more than others, but yet they have a responsibility as equal to everyone? Like, how do you how do you balance those things as a parent?
Well, okay, so in the Bible, who was it? Paul says, become all things to all men so that you can win them to Christ. Okay. So I would translate that with parenting is becoming not yourself, but becoming what each of them needs in a way that helps them to become who they uniquely are. And at the same time, well, first embracing who they uniquely are. being like, oh, like, you know,
But how do you
kids are
do
not
that as a parent if who they uniquely are is not who you prefer them to
who you
be?
prefer to be around, because everybody has personalities. Everybody has their certain preference on who they like to hang around with and stuff. And I will say, Gerald, like, it's so early. They're still so young. So they're like, we like have three kind of mirrors of ourselves, because they're still kind of in that mimic type mode to kind of be and do what we do or stuff. But you will see like little, I guess, glimpses of who they are, you know, outside of them just mocking. And that's what you can be like, all right, let's delve into this a little bit more. So you like the color, or so you're a talker. So you want to keep doing freeze dance for 5 hours, and I don't want to do it anymore. Okay. And parenting is a lot of recognition. It's watching, it's listening, it's growing, because honestly, when you a parent, yeah, you might not feel like it, or you don't rock with the way that they are, or whatever. Sometimes you got to suck that shit up. Okay. You got to suck it up, because you got a person to build, a whole person to build, and you don't want to tear them down. So sometimes you do have to fake it till you make it.
When you say you don't want to tear them down, like, what does that mean to you, to tear a kid down? Like,
to tear a kid down is for them to like know and recognize that them being them is not accepted by you. And they know it. Children know love, they know fear, and they know when you don't like them like that. You and that children don't know how to not take stuff personally either, because they're very personal. And not taking everything personally, that comes with time and maturity and things like that. But not tearing someone down is being able to be the parent, shield them with your acceptance.
Wow.
Shield them with you faking the phone with them to a point, because they do have to know everybody's personality is not your personality. Mommy's not a talker. Mommy's a watcher and a listener. And I like that, because when I do talk, it's like, oh, let's see. She has something to say, maybe, you know, let's listen. But that's me. Daddy's a talker. Yap, 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 yap. And it's fine, you know, because we make it work. I don't make him feel uncomfortable for being a talker. He doesn't make me feel uncomfortable for not talking.
Right.
So
it is what it is.
It is what it is. And it's being able to mindfully position yourself to parent and protect your kids by allowing them to, and helping them, because kids you need to gutter it in, you know, everything don't just go. Folly is in the heart of a child, and the rod of correction drives it out. Not a rod like you beating them. No, the correction, like, oh, whoa, babe, you don't want to do that. When you get mad, you don't want to put your hands on people like that. That's not how you do it, you know? But just mindfully parenting by protecting them and allowing them to be them and receive your acceptance as the parent.
That's good.
What about you, Marcus? Same thing. Like, how do you do your best to try and not have your kids feel like you are showing like a favoritism over one or over the other?
Yeah, man, I just look back, man. It's like empathy and equity, man. Like, it's kind of like what you were saying before, Bianca, of like recognizing the needs, that they have different needs. And also, like, we see ourselves in them. You know, what we needed as kids. And they're different than us. We shouldn't expect them to be like us. But when we see those glimpses of like remembrances of ourselves,
familiarity,
and like, man, that's something I really needed. I needed that attention from mom, or, you know, I needed dad in that moment to keep like, hey man, try it again for the basketball team. You didn't make it, but we're gonna work on it. We're gonna get you right. You know, you know, recognizing that need in the kids early, and seeing, you know, kind of recognizing the self-starters. You know, recognizing those that need a little bit more of a push, recognizing those that are independent, like, and they they come to you when they need you. Outside of that, they're good. Like we have 3 completely different kids, and then you got one that's just a boss. Like she wants to push everybody around, even us included. That's the little
And the youngest.
She's the youngest. Her name precedes herself, man. So just being able to be sensitive as a dad to recognize, like, okay, I have this ability. I have this thing that you need right now.
Wow.
And then being honest and saying, look, I don't have what you need right now.
Let's look it up.
I'm not in the space to be of a benefit for you right now. And being able to say that in a way that doesn't hurt them. But it's like, and just being intentional, saying, but hey, during this time tomorrow, we're playing basketball. Or this time tomorrow, when you get home from school, we're gonna ride your bike, and being true to the promises.
Being true to your word.
Because the kids, they remember.
That is huge. Yeah, man. I gotta be honest. Yeah, that's crucial, man.
That's why I try to, man, just listen to them and be honest with them. Like, look, daddy is working right now, and this is what I'm doing. It's not because I don't want to spend time with you. Or it's like, look, our daddy's tired, or daddy's, say that, but tomorrow at this time.
Right.
Just being specific with them
and follow through
with it, man.
And follow through. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta, I mean, I think a lot of my triggers, like mom, like I hate being told no. Hate it. I hate it. Even to this day, hate it. And on top of being not told no, I also have significant challenges as it relates to my expectations not being met. Like you said, we were leaving at 3:15.
That's real though.
What are we doing? You said 3. Well, why is it 3:15 and we're still sitting here? Like,
come on, man.
We're laughing. That's
real,
so Marcus too.
Real, man.
Yo, did we not say 3? What's the
Did we not? We're still asking.
Yo, did we not say 3? What are we talking about? Like, and so like, I'm big on like word is bond, if you will. For me, that was a challenge growing up as it relates to parents. And that's what my mom had to say, I'll think about it.
Okay.
She learned to communicate with me to say,
yes,
I'm going to just tell him and he'll learn that means no. But I'll just say, I think about it. Because every once in a while it might mean yes. But
there you go.
But at least you're thinking about it. Don't just tell me no.
Yes.
No's, right?
And she eased and met your expectation.
Correct.
By not needing anything.
Correct.
Letting you know that I'll think about it. And it worked.
That's wisdom right there.
It worked. It worked. And it's like you gotta know your audience and anything that you're doing. You gotta know your audience and you gotta adapt to your audience and as parents, like, especially in a day and age where it's just, if I'm being honest, like a traditional 2-parent household, like I don't know how many 2-parent households with 3 kids I don't know how many couples of our age group would check y'all's box. Similar to, I don't know how many would check my box. I don't know how many would check your box either. Like 10 years married, like that's already a rare, I think a pretty rare box for our age group.
Yeah.
But then 10 years married with the 3 kids and we like each other. Like,
true.
Like, it's crazy. Like, I cannot get over this. It's like, yo, they were just like getting along and singing in harmony. Like, it's just
man.
It was crazy. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah. They at home, they be wrestling and going in, man.
But not like fight.
But love.
Right.
But that goes back. Remember I told you we weren't allowed to fight? So that might be another manifestation of my expectation. And subliminally, I've instilled it in them.
Yeah.
And it comes out. So yeah.
Man, that's I really appreciate y'all because I'm not a parent. I appreciate talking to parents that are my age and the different, like I always say, there's 1,000 rights and 1,000 wrongs in any given situation. It's all what's going to work for you in a given time period. You just, when you look at a map, we can get to the same destination multiple routes.
There you go.
Do you want to see scenic? You want to kind of streamline it? You want to have less traffic? Like, what's the goal, right? And it's not a right or wrong. And it's a challenge for parents. As I talk to so my mom had siblings. She grew up in a house with like 5 or so siblings, and my father had 5 or 6 so siblings.
Oh.
Man.
Like, yeah, exactly. It's like a different type of, we don't really see that as often, especially like 3, like 3 is today's 5 or 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
now.
So yeah, today's 3 was our parent growing up 5 to 6, I would say, and I do, just because I grew up in a household where I was my mom's only child, I never even questioned or fought for a certain attention as it relates to, like, I always had my mom. It was my mom. And then my mom got married, and she had and I grew up then with siblings in the household. But there was always like a separation, if you will, of church and state. Like, my mom managed me, and my stepdad managed his kids, so to speak, but we were all together.
Okay.
And when I think about talking to my mom, her siblings, and then I think about my wife, she has siblings, and I just think about people I'm close to with siblings. And I almost know that all of them can say who the parent's favorite. Almost all of them.
Everybody.
Almost all of them.
Yeah.
And even down to like I joke with my cousin that, like, I know that you're grandma's favorite. Like, I know this.
Oh.
I tell my cousin this, like, all the time, and he knows it too. Like, we agree, and we would strategically say,
"Oh, well."
And I think about that, and I think it's worth actually talking about more openly, like, because it's a real thing. It's a real thing, and it happens. And I think as parents with multiple kids, like, I appreciate you sharing your backgrounds and how you approach these things, because it inevitably happens. And I think, with the family being the theme of this, I want families to be more strongly connected. And you sharing your experience, at least in my opinion, is an opportunity to really, like, reflect, not just so much on what you, but from your own lens. Like, well, how do I hear how Bianca goes about it. She spoke about her early childhood development background and how that helped impacted how she has interacted with the kids and helped raise them, and how she disciplines them and so forth, and structures their day. And I appreciate those jewels you drop. I'm definitely gonna go back and notate, like, what you had mentioned there. Like, when we think about these things, we do have tools out there, but for whatever reason, as a community, we don't share our tools. We hoard our tools. Even if we're not even using them, we won't let somebody else come get the value, even though it's just being hoarded without nothing being. It's like, it's nothing to let those nuggets of information go that you just did with your 19 years of experience in early, from a business standpoint, you pay significant money for expertise, for information on what to do and how to do it. And I don't think that's any different from a parenting standpoint. And someone like yourself, I think that's a very unique perspective, not only the background professionally, but then managing 3 young babies all in home and doing it in such a unique way. Like, I appreciate you sharing those jewels, and hopefully people listen and hear it and apply it. They think about what they're doing in a way to just make sure that we're not intentionally creating these sort of biases, depending on what you say, amongst our kids. Like, and I didn't have anything else other there to add but that to me is just like, I'm very appreciative that you all were willing to join me and share those thoughts about your background and how you're currently interacting with your own family. And I do think it's a powerful way to potentially help other young parents sort of consider, as they start to build their families, some things that they can do to better allocate their time and resources to their kids in a way that doesn't hopefully build any resentment or trauma in a relationship along the way.
Yeah.
Because somebody's got to stop it. somewhere. The trauma and the reoccurrence, the manifestations of those things that we might have gone through. So, like you said, just eyes open, ears open, and hands open. Being a spouse and being a parent, I believe, is two of the not selfless calling, because you don't lose yourself, but it's the most selfless like calling and ministry that you can do, because it's not just about you. It's about the other person. Now, the difference between being a spouse and being a parent is now you got somebody that's totally dependent on you, especially at the very beginning.
Ooh, this is good. All right, so as we get out of here, gotta make it a little spicy.
Yeah.
Gotta make it a little spicy.
Come on, bro. Come
And I
on.
gotta ask each of you the same question, and we getting out of here
Okay.
after this.
Okay, that sounds good.
This is good.
Y'all seen Titanic, right?
Uh-huh.
you see.
So you know how it ends, right?
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
On the selfless point.
All right, now I'm gonna save the quote unquote man for last.
Thank you, my brother.
As I want to hear how he answers this last. As the woman of the house,
Mhm.
you personally, everybody can fit. No. Let's do this way. Let's do this
Everyone
way.
can fit on the thing.
Must say it's five and four of them, man. 4 of them.
All right, let's not even put it in Titanic, because, like, in all seriousness, because once you kind of have kids, oftentimes as a married couple, I've often heard couples with kids, like, when I got married, one of the most prevalent pieces of advice that I think I heard from anybody that was married was wait to have kids. That was one of the most
We heard it the whole time.
constant, like, reoccurring, no matter how good or bad their marriage was. I heard that from everybody. Wait to have kids. Married, divorced, single, wait. And so what I think often happens once you have kids, it takes priority over your relationship with your spouse.
Well, that's good, man.
And so as someone who I'm not currently a parent, it's very clear for me. As someone who has a spouse and kids, I'm not going to ask which kid do you pluck first. We're not going to do that. No. What I will ask, though, as it relates to spouse and children, what's the hierarchy?
Come on, brother.
What is most important in terms of prioritization? Do you prioritize? And I don't want to say like taking care of your kids, because that should be expected. Like from a relationship standpoint, like. What's the priority? The relationship, quality time with your husband, your spouse, or your wife?
Stop looking at me, Marcus.
That's a good
I'm
question.
listening to Gerald.
Or quality, whatever, in the name of the kids. Like, and the kids always come first. Their needs always come first. Like, if you make it mutually exclusive, which are you choosing?
Well, let's say this. You don't have to pick. You don't have to pick.
Can't say both.
Because,
Yeah,
okay.
saying you can't be radio.
That one, coach. Listen. So I would say kids' needs don't come first.
What? Come on now.
Kids' needs come all the time.
Oh, come on.
First, middle, last, constant. They always need something all the time. It's Marcus that has had me eat a hot meal for all these years that we've been parents. Because someone always needs something as soon as you sit down. Kids needs come always. It's up to you to make sure that the spouse's needs are met in the midst of the always too, and yourself too. That's just the juggling of the parenthood. That's just the juggling of the spousehood. The balance is imbalance at times, and there is an understanding that sometimes the imbalance is uncomfortable, and children are not convenient.
Before I respond there,
Yeah.
I want to hear what Marcus has to say as well.
Okay.
Yes, sir. All it takes is 5 minutes. 5 minutes is all. We go right back to the kids. That's all I'm saying. 5 to 10 minutes is all we need.
And is it doable? You turn on some PBS Kids.
My needs first. Our needs.
Kid is not a
The
first.
kids will be fine.
It's not first. It's not second. It's not last. Kids need.
I mean,
Spouses need. Go ahead, baby.
it was our needs that got the kids here. Amen. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, listen, the kids got here because of us. The kids will be gone, and our needs will still be
God's work is what got them here. God's work
through us.
Through us.
So I mean, we know we love it. We love our kids. And that's been something we have struggled with.
It's a work in progress.
It's just been something we don't really have a definitive answer. If it was up to me, but like, hey, Nana, come get the kids. Like, you gotta be intentional. You gotta be intentional. Like I was saying,
you have to
with the kids being intentional with them. We gotta be intentional with us. Like especially now with 3, it's like, oh look, we're gonna have a date night.
We're outnumbered.
We're gonna go out to Goodberries on this night right here. We're gonna watch Netflix. We're gonna be intentional about our time. The kids are going to bed 45 every day. So that we can make sure we have what we need, you know what I'm saying? And that time changes as they get older. Those things change, and we stay flexible. But if it was up to me, be like, all I need is 10 minutes, guy.
Yo, I really appreciate y'all, and I appreciate the way you answered that, Bianca, because that was a good answer. That was a good answer because there is no choice. There is no. Like, to your point, I don't think there's a choice. But there does have to be hierarchy. Yeah.
What's up?
Most definitely.
So when both needs are at the crossroad and both can't go past the finish line.
It's our job as parents.
Who you choosing, baby? Is it me or them kids?
It's our job as parents. Remember I said the most selfless thing?
You'll let me go, huh? That's what it sounds
like. No, it's not letting you go. It's like it's our jobs as parents to do for and be for these kids, I guess, what they can't till they can do it for themselves. And you would trust that the union of marriage would have you in agreement enough to, if that should come to that crossroads, you would pray and hope that we both be in agreement to put in the same effort, I guess, to put them where they need to be in a way that we're still together. We're working together to do this together, to move these people that gonna be grown and gone. It's just seasonal. It's a season.
Yeah.
So it's selfless. Yeah, I would say, and I wouldn't say it's for the mom or the dad to choose. It's the couple. You got to together choose, like.
Yeah, life chooses, man.
Life
Chooses, man. Like their needs, they continue to have more needs as the days go by, man. And it's just like, as parents, I think that's what we're here for, to make better uses. Like if God chooses, it's like, look, we're gonna bring these kids through y'all. Do we need y'all?
That's your job.
Make sure you get them to the finish line.
Yep.
Or to your finish line. You know what I'm saying? That they can accelerate past wherever it is that we can, how far wherever we can take it. And and that's all seriousness. It's like that's what we saw our parents do, man.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw our parents do. We saw our parents sacrifice themselves so much, put themselves on the back burner so much. You know what I'm saying? For us. And who are we to be like, nah, we ain't doing it now, Like, we got it's gonna be the kids, man. Always.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the kids, man.
And it does manifest another stage. Parenting manifests another stage in the marriage. Whereas, like, all right, dude, like, you know what we need to do? Like, we're working together. It's a relationship. I heard it put this way. I was listening to Queen Afua. I forget her son's name, but he said, like, it's a relation, the couple, and then a ship is a journey. And like you had said before, so many paths that get you to the same destination. So it's like you pick your journey together, like that's you guys together. So it's not a mom making a decision and the kids, not a dad. It's the parents making a decision and pushing our kids forward till they don't need us no more. Like that.
That is beautiful. This is the G Podcast, where we focus on family, finances, our future, and fuck everything else. Before we get out of here, any last words for the audience? I appreciate y'all joining us. We're going to close it out here. Is there any last minute words from the both of you before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I just want to say, man, thank you. Thank you for bringing topics like this, carving a lane like this and this is wise entertainment for people. And this is what I want to say to the viewers. Like, this is a missing piece of information that Gerald brings, to y'all. Society wants to form you to be something that isn't necessarily natural, or that's what you're put on earth for. Like, you have a lot of us are in relationships. A lot of us need wisdom on finances. A lot of us, everybody has some family dynamics, friendships. You know what I'm saying? And we need wisdom on how to navigate these things. And so having content like this is super valuable. And you carved a unique lane, because I don't see stuff like this out here on social media. So social media is so concentrated with so many messages. Yeah. But yeah, having diverse messages like this from real people is just we appreciate you, Gerald, for having us on here and inviting us on here, and for you answering the call to do this, man. Yeah. We can tell this is definitely something you called to do, man.
I appreciate y'all. Bianca, you got any final thing to add there?
I want to thank you for keeping people's attention on something beneficial.
Good, man.
Information, people's experiences. I really appreciate your perspective. And I know I've said it before. I don't eavesdrop on y'all, but when I am doing stuff around and I hear your voice and I hear what you guys are talking about. And I can honestly say I'm thankful that Marcus has a friend like you, and for you to have this, to be able to not be everybody's friend, but you put your perspective, which is power, which is pure, and which is really like beneficial, for you to put this out there like that. I'm proud of you, bless you, and just keep going forward. You and Carmika are beautiful people, blessed people.
For real.
And y'all just keep moving forward and pushing everybody forward. Just thank you for bringing everyone's attention to something that's positive, and praying that it's impactful to change people's lives for the better. So thank you for having us.
I greatly appreciate those kind words. I got the nice lighting, so you probably can't see a black man blush, but it's happening. I do appreciate the kind words. That's very, very kind of you.
I see it.
Once again, man, this is the G Podcast. Shout out to Marcus and Bianca for joining us. Hey, look, we know you got favorites. We know this. But what's most important is that you manage it in a way so that your kids don't know. Gotta make sure you give each of your kids the love and attention that they need, so that they know that you felt just as much about them as they did anybody else, because it all starts at home. This is the G Podcast. We are out, man. If this your first time tuning in and you made it this far, please hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned. We got more live shows coming up. We got plenty of catalog on the page. This is the G Podcast. I appreciate y'all listening.
All right.
It doesn't matter how you feel.
I'm not taking no talk back. You see me blink yet?